Welcome to The Tech Branch, live and local here on Super Talk 1270. The latest gadgets, online security, websites and apps, social media, and so much more. How can technology help you? Let's find out. It's time for The Tech Branch on Super Talk 1270.
From our studios in beautiful Mandan, North Dakota, along the mighty Missouri River, here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
So, is your car capable of killing you? Well, of course it is, but is it capable of killing you with somebody else at the helm, driving it remotely? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Some amazing news that came out about that over the last couple of days. And Katie, Miss Metaverse, Katie Queen will be joining us later to talk about apps. We're always talking about apps on this show. Among other interesting news tidbits of the day at the control panel, producer extraordinaire, Mr. Jim Walsh.
Hi.
Hi. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Did you sweat a little over the weekend?
No, I stayed inside. Cranked that air conditioning. Oh, baby, I was in heaven.
It was, I mean, it wasn't hot, but it certainly was warm and humid.
Warm enough, yeah.
Yeah.
It ain't the heat, it's the humidity.
It is, exactly. That's exactly right. So, yeah, we have you been following this news about people who hacked into a Jeep?
I saw the story, and I set it aside to read later, and me being me, I never got around to reading it.
Sure. Kind of like you when you send me stuff all the time, too. I'm like, I'll read that later before we get on the show, and I never get to it either. So.
But I'll keep sending you the stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because one of these days I might actually open it up and read it. So, yeah. So anyway, this is interesting. If you have a Jeep, you might want to pay attention to this a little bit. So a couple guys a few days ago hacked into a Jeep, turned on the windshield wipers, turned on the radio, turned off the radio, while this car is going down the road at 70 miles an hour.
Now, how are they able to do that?
Well, you think about this, and I've always wondered about this myself. You can call the service that provides, you got it in your rearview mirror type of thing. You can hit the button and you make a phone call or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And if you lock your keys out of your car, you can open your car from that. You can track the vehicle. You can do all of this stuff now with that stuff. The issue is that these systems are in place basically before anybody started thinking about security. So there's not really any level of security with this. So anybody who has those services on their vehicle, and great that you have those services, because if you're ever in an accident or whatever, and if you can push that red little button to dial them immediately so that you can get assistance to your vehicle, those are fantastic features. They really are, and have saved many, many lives. But the ability for some hacker, now they call themselves white hat hackers, meaning that they are on the good side of this. They're just demonstrating that this is possible. And, of course, we talk about autonomous vehicles all the time. And the one question that I get repeatedly is that I don't trust autonomous vehicles because what happens if somebody takes it over?
Yeah, good question.
And get that all the time. And there are levels of security that they've got in place now that basically, would not make that happen. And probably the biggest thing is that a lot of these autonomous vehicles that are being developed right now aren't connected to the internet. They're concerned about it themselves, so they remove themselves from the internet totally.
Oh, okay.
So there's no way for somebody to communicate with the car that way, and I would imagine that maybe when they add services in the future, whether it's, to unlock the doors or whatever, they probably will have some layers of security involved there so that they can't do that. But they even sent photos of themselves to the car, and it displayed it in their little display on the radio and things like that. So, it is kind of scary that a person is capable of doing this. And are they able to change gears? They won't be able to control the steering wheel, but they might be able to apply the brakes.
Yeah. Because
of the crash avoidance that's on the system now, or whatever the computer can control, they would have access to in those earlier model vehicles. So.
Cruising down the interstate and they throw you in reverse.
Yeah. That would be a little
really
dangerous.
Grind things.
Yes, it really would be. So I think a person really has to take a look at this and just make sure. And this is always my part of this, is that it's good that they bring this out. And now that it's news, now there are people who are thinking, oh, maybe I should do that. And maybe I don't wear a white hat I'm not the white hat person. It's just like, all the publicity that's given to the shooting in the movie theater. Now there's another movie theater shooting type of deal. And I think it's because there's so much media around it. You put a lot of media around anything, and somebody's going to think about ways that they can do this.
A few years ago, I remember there was a rash of hijackings.
Yes.
Back before they had this new security measures. Right. And I was thinking the same thing. They hear about it on the news, and somebody goes out and does it.
And it does seem to be that way. Yeah. We talked a lot about drones, of course, as well. And a couple times we talked about what happens if you fly a drone into the White House, for example, or whatever. And lo and behold, a few weeks later, not that we talked about a lot on this show and that prompted that, but somebody was out there trying to do it, and they got a lot of media attention. So the next thing is going to be somebody's going to try to fly a drone into the Pentagon or whatever. So I think
the concern is that somebody will fly a drone into the White House with a backpack nuke attached.
That's correct. Yeah. I guess the drone itself isn't a big deal.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's going to bounce off the wall. Basically, there's nothing out there that's really dangerous about that outside of maybe somebody cutting their finger on a blade or something,
right.
So not a lot of danger there. But it does, and here we are talking about it and probably giving people ideas anyway. So
I think the ideas are out there.
They are out there, yeah. We're just rehashing them a little bit.
Yeah.
That's right. And since we only have one person that listens to the show anyway, it's probably not a big deal. So
hi, Kate.
So anyway, so we have that going on. The other thing, Steve Hawkins, I'm sure you know who he is.
Yeah.
He
talks with the mechanical
exactly.
voice thingy. Yeah.
Exactly. And he's come out and has put a $100 million hunt for alien intelligence. So you've heard about Earth 2, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Earth 2...
They found a planet somewhere that is very close in size to Earth.
I think about a one-third larger than us, but they figure has a lot of the same characteristics, about the same distance from their particular sun.
So it's in that sweet spot where life, our kind of life, can develop.
Exactly. 140 light years from here. So, and I suppose people think about, that's not so far, but it's 140 light years is a long ways. I mean, you think about how far is the sun from the Earth?
8 light minutes.
Okay. So you think about the distance from the sun, and the moon is
about a second away. The light takes about a second.
From the moon.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think about the trip to the moon, 8 times more distance to the sun. And that's a long ways. That's 8 minutes of traveling at the speed of light to get there, just to the sun. 140 light years.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. We would need the ability of warp speed or
I don't know if we want to go to the sun anyway. It'd be too hot.
It would get a little warm.
Unless we went at night.
Yes, exactly.
No.
Joke. I was actually thinking about that on the way over here today. About how much energy the sun puts out, because it's hot. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
It's hot.
We are 8 light minutes from the sun.
Yeah, the heat we're getting right now took 8 minutes to get here from the surface of the sun.
Yeah, that's just amazing when you think about that in retrospect to everything else that's going on out there. So anyway, everybody, after the break, we will continue our conversation on news of the day, and after in a little bit. Wow, it is Monday, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah.
A little bit. Miss Metaverse, Katie Aquino will be joining us. So come on back.
Right now, 79.
Follow the Guru of Geek at Facebook.com/The Tech Ranch, or Twitter at Guru of Geek, or TheTechRanch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we want to thank all the listeners across the country and around the world who join us on Blueberry. Of course, we're on Tuned In. We're on the Roku. We're on Apple iTunes and our own app, Radio Pup. So all kinds of places you can join us later if you want to hear the show again. And, of course, we are talking about the Bubba news today. I didn't really prepare a lot to talk about the first half of the show because I had a lot of news to kind of catch up on.
Yeah.
The big announcement. Everybody's thinking I'm thinking Windows 10, which, of course, we're going to talk to you about.
We kind of talked about that last week.
We do, and we were going to talk about a little bit more here shortly.
Sheriff Nick.
That's right. But the big announcement is that Angry Birds 2 is set for a late July landing. So,
Alrighty.
in just a few days, you will be able to get Angry Birds 2. Now, there have been a lot of spin-offs and a lot of other things. Have you ever played Angry Birds?
No.
Never?
Never.
Oh, it took the world by storm.
I'm
6
familiar
years
with
ago.
that one cardinal, that bad dude-looking cardinal.
Okay, yep. So, yeah, it was a game that really became popular because of smartphones. You know? And you could see, in fact, even today, when you walk through an airport or a crowded area or whatever, you will see lots of people playing Angry Birds, you know. But yeah, the company called Rovio is actually bringing out their sequel, I guess you could say, to Angry Birds.
They're back.
They're back.
This time it's personal.
Yeah. Actually,
in
let's
a
see.
world
The
where
details are
birds
scant, but
angry.
Angry Birds 2 apparently will be bigger, badder, and birdier.
Bigger, badder, and birdy, and angrier, and birdier, and
Yes. So yeah, I enjoyed playing Angry Birds. I got, you know, of course, like everybody else, probably got a little tired of it. Although
has
I haven't
something to do
played
with
it for a
pigs,
while.
right?
There's
eat
some pigs in there too.
They kill pigs or something.
Yeah, take down buildings, all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, you'll probably want to get in line because Angry Birds 2 is set to come out. Of course, Windows 10 is going to be launching on July 29th. And visiting with Sheriff Nick this morning before coming on the show, he said that if you're going to update to Windows 10, make sure you have everything backed up.
Right.
Because he's, you know, very, very concerned that if your machine doesn't work well with Windows 10, if there's some type of error while it's upgrading or whatever, that you would happen to lose all your photos and your documents or whatever.
Whoa.
Don't want that to happen.
Bummer.
So make sure that if you are anxious to upgrade, his actual advice is let's wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever, before you upgrade anyway, because they're going to, of course, run into probably some bugs.
Yeah.
And let Microsoft get those worked out and let somebody else deal with those issues.
Yeah.
You be smart and
It's
wait
like the
a few
old
weeks.
joke. I don't have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun you.
Exactly right. So now if you, on the other hand, are anxious to move to Windows 10 and you have maybe a non-critical machine that you want to update and you want to play with it a little bit, go for it. You know, we're not saying that you don't do this. Just be prepared in case something goes wrong, that you have everything backed up and that type of thing.
Cover
make
your gluteus.
That's exactly right. So, all right, Stephen Hawking's $100 million
$100 million
to hunt for alien intelligence. So, and you know, you think about the things that have happened in the last couple weeks. We flew by Pluto.
Yeah.
We found Earth 2.
Earth 2.
And there's just been this rekindling of research for space, you know, and the search for extraterrestrial life.
I understand there's also talk about going back to the moon.
There's a lot of talk about going back to the moon, but probably even more talk about Mars.
Yeah.
You know, I think they feel that although the moon is okay, it's not maybe that big of a challenge anymore.
Well, the thing with the moon is it's a good springboard.
That's
because
exactly
the gravity
right.
is lower and it's already out there a bit. So you
if they were to build a camp or something, you know, that they could you know, go there and prepare for a longer launch or whatever.
So I'm thinking as a practical matter, you want to talk about logistics of space travel, the logical thing would be to set up a base on the moon first.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, there's a lot of talk about that. So if you want to check out Steve Hawking's $100 million quest to find life outside of the planet, you can go check that out. It's all over the place on the web. So Commodore. Remember Commodore?
Commodore.
Did you play Commodore when you were a kid or younger?
I had all their records. Lionel Richie was great. All right, I'm being silly.
Yes, but the Commodore, did you ever have the game?
No.
Okay, game system, whatever, Commodore 64.
I was not a geeky kind of guy, not in that way.
I'm starting to get that after you being on the show a couple of years. Yeah.
That's kind of why I'm here. I give you the outsider's perspective.
And I appreciate that. That's fantastic. So the Commodore is back. They actually have a new Android phone.
Okay.
So they're making kind of a comeback with, it's called the Commodore PET smartphone from Commodore Business Machines, UK-based firm that's acquired the brand and trademark. It runs Android 5, 5.5-inch full HD, 1920 by 1080 display. And I have two pre-installed emulators let owners play games written for old-school Commodore PCs.
Okay. Now, this is not the same as a Droid.
It is a droid.
Oh, it is a droid.
It is a droid.
It is a droid.
But it has installed emulators, so it can go back in time and basically play these old games or old softwares that you used to use as a with Commodore. So yeah, that is interesting. I don't know about you, but I think the movie Pixels opened over the weekend. Pac-Man and all of that is back in the news because
it came
of
in
that.
number 2 overall.
It did, okay.
Ant-Man was still number 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. But it is interesting that Pac-Man and those games from the early '80s still are fairly popular.
Yeah.
And I've gone online occasionally and found a place to play Space Invaders or Pac-Man or whatever,
Remember the Space Invaders song? Oh, what song is back on the charts? It's Pac-Man Fever. Remember Pac-Man Fever?
You have to be kidding me.
I kid you not. I hated, oh God, I learned to hate that song. I was doing Top 40 at the time. I had to play that song like every 45 minutes.
Is it really back on the charts? Not a top 40 type of deal, is it?
Well, it's generating a lot of interest.
That is
Apparently
interesting.
Pac-Man is making kind of a comeback, and so the song is back. Buckner and Garcia.
Yes.
Pac-Man Fever. I'll find, I'm sure it's on YouTube.
We'll have to pull that up here a little bit. Yeah, that's fantastic to know that. Yeah. So you have Commodore that's kind of you know what it is to me, a lot of this stuff that's coming back, and you could say the same thing about artists. Of course, we had Aerosmith that played here recently.
And I understand they were very good over the weekend.
Very good, yes, yep. But it's our generation, Jim.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's us.
We're reliving our youth through these musical groups and these songs, and now the video games and things that we used to play are making a big comeback. You really did find the song.
Yeah. This modern future sonic technology is great.
This is what, 84, 85?
82.
That early?
82.
Wow.
Because I remember vividly when it came out. Because like I said, I hated this song with a purple passion because I had to play it all the time. And the little kids would call up for it.
I remember the lines. I was a big arcade person.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent a lot of time in arcades. You can let it play. That's cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My favorite was Centipede.
Oh, yeah.
Centipede was the one I liked.
Yep.
I don't know why. It just appealed to me.
Asteroids was a big thing for me back then.
Space Invaders?
Oh, yeah.
He's hooked, his brain is cooked.
Yeah, a lot of cool things back then. So these games are making a comeback, and you can start playing them now in your new Commodore Android phone. So
Missile Command, stop your town from getting nuked.
So were there any games that you played at all when you were younger?
Well, like I said, I did play Pac-Man, and I played Centipede.
I remember did you ever go to the arcade or wherever they had a Pac-Man machine and you had to stand in a line to play the darn thing?
Oh, yeah.
Just so that you could put quarters in the darn
thing. Remember Ms. Pac-Man?
Oh, yeah. I had a Ms. Pac-Man game for many years.
Pac-Man was very popular with women. Apparently, they thought it was cute.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they were fascinated with the idea that something could eat that much without gaining weight. Sexist pig, I know.
All right, the other big news, I think, of the week, maybe not of the week, but in recent times here, Google Photos. So I don't know if you're familiar with Google Photos or not.
Google Photos.
Yeah, so you can actually...
I'm familiar with it.
You can put it on your phone now, and it keeps a backup of... It just collects all your photos until you make it stop, basically. Yeah. And if you save them in high resolution, it'll give you a certain amount of space to store them. If you save them in their recommended settings, there's no limit to the amount of photos you can throw in this thing and store them for yourself. So you have basically a place to archive all of your photos in the future if you're using Android. Now, I don't know. I'll have to ask Katie when she comes online here shortly about iPhone, if iPhone has or Apple has a similar way to keep their photos and that type of thing. So, speaking of Pac-Man and Pixels, did you know the inventor of Pac-Man is actually in the movie?
Really?
Yeah. I thought that was kind of cool that he was kind of making a comeback.
Japanese guy?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. And it was called Puckman, I believe, was the actual name of the game originally.
Well, I know Donkey Kong. The word donkey in Japanese means something different from donkey in English.
Right.
It means like stupid or big dopey guy or whatever.
Well, they actually, but Puckman was the original name, and they were concerned about graffiti. Think about that.
Puckman.
Yes. And so they changed it
you kind of modify the P a little
That's
bit.
correct.
Do a little erasing
That's
there.
correct.
It's like the word flick, F-L-I-C-K. You can kind of have fun with that one.
So they actually, even back in 1980 or 81 when Pac-Man first came out, they were very concerned about it. So they changed it from Puckman to Pac-Man. So just to give you a little history there on that.
Very good.
Yeah. And let's see what other cool things we got going on here today. So what did you find for us now?
That's the
Space
supposedly the space. Now that's not the one I remember. The one I remember was the one where he's hooked, his brain is cooked.
Yep, I don't remember this one either.
Invaders.
Yes. Pluto
right, we'll
picks
kill that one.
push interest in space exploration. So basically, Pluto and the spacecraft that went by there recently, the space probe that went by there, has dramatically, and I'm just pointing out that the number of Google searches for space travel, space exploration has gone up dramatically since Pluto went by. So, all right, everybody, Miss Metaverse Kate Aquino will be coming to us shortly, so come on back.
Right now, 79.
Our own radio station. Not Fargo, not the Twin Cities. Proud to be Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
He's hooked, his brain is cooked. He's hooked, his brain is cooked.
Well, we brought back all the old things today, haven't we?
He's hooked, his brain is cooked.
Did that song make the top 40?
I think it might have.
I know Pac-Man was the big deal. In fact, I think Pac-Man made the top 5.
Big record. Yeah, it's top 5, definitely.
Yep, and occasionally makes them back. And like you said, it's actually might even be in the charts again, so we'll have to check that out. But there's a lot of interest in it since the new movie Pixels is out. So joining us on the phone, of course, Miss... Oh, go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say, from what I hear, it's not a very good movie.
I haven't heard. Yeah. So
Adam Sandler has taken a lot of heat.
Yeah,
he's in it.
Well, we'll have to.
But he cries all the way to the bank. I mean, he's a moneymaker.
He is a moneymaker.
He knows how to make. He knows how to. Whoever's going to see these movies, kids, I guess.
Yeah.
Young boys.
Yep.
But he knows his target demographic very well.
Absolutely. All right, and with that, on the phone, Miss Metaverse, Katie Aquino. How you doing, Katie?
I'm doing well, Marlo. How you doing?
Doing fine as well. Glad to have you on the show. And of course, the task today was to find the most popular iPhone apps, and of course I was tasked with finding the most popular Android apps. So this is what we're going to talk about today, and I may have stepped out of my bounds a little bit. I found some others that might not be as popular, but I thought were worth talking about. I hope you did as well.
Oh, I totally did. I felt the same way, because a lot of the ones that were the top rated, they weren't so great. And you got to remember too, a lot of different ages that are using iPhone apps and downloading them. So a lot of it's like games and things like that too. So it's good to step out and really do some research on what's coming out.
Absolutely. And by the way, we're attempting to broadcast on Meerkat today. So I'm hoping that everything is working okay. We've been falling off the stream occasionally. We don't have the best internet. As soon as you said that, Jim, it just went dead. So keep talking for a second. I'll bring it back up.
Okay. I'm going to keep talking here. Katie, you and I can just kind of entertain ourselves while Marlo gets the thingy. He's plunking his electric twanger right now, which is not a euphemism for something. He's actually working on the, it looks like a little iPad thing he's got over there, and it's plugged in, and he's doing something with his finger. I call this thing. Oh, okay, we're back.
Just like that.
Yay! Now let me stick my hand out.
There you go. If anybody can see it there. I might have it turned a little too. Well, I think we're frozen back up again.
We're frozen.
Oh my goodness. Well, there we. I think we're back.
We're
again
back.
There we go.
Hello, hi. That's me. My hand. My wife will recognize my hand.
Maybe we shouldn't have so much fun while we're on the air, Jim.
Oh gosh, no.
So anyway, all right, Katie. Let's start off. Give us your first app of the day.
Well, I have to stop right now and just ask Marlo, why Meerkat, not Periscope?
Well, because you can embed Meerkat on your website. And Periscope at this time does not allow you to do that. So people can go to thetechranch.com and actually watch us live right there, right now, without having to have Meerkat or Periscope installed on your computer or laptop or device or whatever. So you can go right to the Tech Ranch right now and watch us if you like.
And where on the website can we see you guys?
If you go to thetechranch.com, there's actually a little thing across the top that says "Watch Us Live," and you'll see it right there.
Ooh, so cool. All right, so let's get into it.
Okay.
Let's start talking about these iPhone apps,
Okay.
all right? So one of the top ones that I saw that was kind of cool, and this is just for fun, it's called Musical.ly. It's musical.ly, Musical.ly. And it's an iOS app that lets you create fun lip sync videos. So you could choose from a bunch of different songs and create your own lip sync videos you can share and do different kind of video effects like slow motion, time lapse, and things like that. So, I mean, it's just something you play around with, and you see a lot of people doing that. At least I've noticed there's a big trend of people putting out lip syncing videos, which is so random, but now there's an app for it, so there you go.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So my first one on the list is one called Nova Launcher, and this is exclusive to Android. iPhone may have something similar to this, but probably not, because it actually plays around with the OS a little bit. And what Nova Launcher does is it allows you to customize the look and feel of the operating system, the actual operating system itself. So if you want to make some changes, if you want to, let's say you have a particular Android, but you want it to look like a Galaxy or an HTC or even an iOS, you can actually pick those different skins or program it in such a way that that Nova allows you to do that. So very, very popular app and something that I think a lot of people like to play with because they might not like the look and feel of the phone the way they have it now.
Very cool.
Okay, so next on your list.
Okay, so I actually thought about this the other day when I was driving to a meeting, and I was like, why isn't there an app for that? And because, when you go to work on a project or you're traveling, you're going to a meeting, you want to know that you have Wi-Fi coverage or that there's a hotspot there. So I actually found out that there is an app for that, and it's called Wi-Fi Mapper. And it's made by a company called OpenSignal, and the company specializes in wireless coverage mapping. So the new Wi-Fi Mapper app basically shows you where a hotspot is located, how reliable the connection is, and it gives you other kinds of details that you would need about the Wi-Fi where you're going. So I think that's very, very good to have if you're going on meetings or you need to go away on vacation and you have to have internet. This could be a little helpful for you.
And I think I'm trying to remember the one that I have. It might be Wi-Fi Mapper, but I have used mine on occasion as well. So it is. I agree with you because, especially if you're maybe not in an area where your data plan is covering what you're supposed to be, and you don't have the high-speed internet or whatever, it's nice to be able to find places where you can maybe do a little work or what have you. So absolutely.
Definitely.
All right, so my next one is the best Android app for kids. And my pick there is one called Kids Place. And this app allows you to assign particular apps and games you want to give young ones access to. So you can download a variety of different games or whatever, put them on your phone, and then you have the Kids Place icon on your screen, and they tap that, and those games have been approved by the parent to allow the kids to play, and the rest of the phone is kind of off. It's off limits to them. So I love this app, and if you have kids that are accessing your phone, or in my case, occasionally the grandchild likes to steal my phone and run away with it, that I don't care so much because I have the Kids Place app on there, and that allows them to go ahead and play with it without damaging my phone at the same time, knowing that they have access only to kid-friendly things.
Oh, that is so genius. That is great, because you're right, Marlo. So many kids, they don't mean it, but it's so easy to just mess up what you've been working on or delete apps on your phone and things like that. So, okay.
Right, and they're not afraid to click on things. So,
for sure. So yeah, my next one is, this is kind of crossing over into your territory, I have to say. Okay, this is Google Photos. So Google recently announced that they have a new photo sharing service. It's called Google Photos. And they announced it at their developer conference in San Francisco recently. And the app, it lets you sort through your photos by day, or you can also scroll through months or years. But what's cool is that you can take your photos and create montage movies, interactive stories, collages, animations, and a whole bunch of other stuff that's really cool. And what I thought was really cool about this app is that it'll back up your photos and your videos automatically from your device, so you don't have to worry about deleting everything off your phone to free up space. You can just delete it, and it's all going to be backed up to the Google Cloud.
So this is available for iPhone as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow!
It came out on iPhone. Mm-hmm.
So I just purchased a new phone, as a matter of fact, and an HTC M9. Love it, by the way, and has great photo taking capabilities. So I've been out taking a few photos with it, and just shortly after I picked it up, Google Photo app became available, so I put it on there. And you're absolutely right. Unlimited storage if you use their recommended settings. It will give you a limit to the size if you go with HD settings. So if you want to store your photos in high definition, it'll allow you to do that, but you can only have so much space for that. But if you are just taking photos for the sake of archiving them and not so concerned about the HD quality of photos, then Google Photos is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
So my next best app is for musicians, and it's called Caustic 3, and just like it sounds, Caustic, then the number 3, latest version of the popular mobile music making machine. This powerful tool uses one of 14 different synthesizers, vocoders, and drum machines to create the perfect sound on the move. So if you are a guitar player, for example, and you have like my new phone, the HTC M9, I'm bragging about it a little bit today, but this thing actually that phone has an amazing stereo built into it. I can't get over it. I was just showing it to a few people the other day, and they're like, that's coming from your phone? But that would be a great addition to, if you needed to maybe have a little drum track in your background while you're playing along with your acoustic guitar or whatever. This app called Caustic 3 would certainly do the job for you. So great app, very, very popular.
Awesome. All right. I would love to download that because I'm always thinking of strange little things. And it's great how the technology is becoming so easy to make your own beats and make your own songs on the go. And it's fun to do with your family, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. This one is a social one for sure. I thought it's a great idea. It's called Free. And it's basically an app that you can send out a message to your friends that says that you're available to hang out. So just like when you Skype or any other social media service where you can change your settings, to, like your status, to say that you're available or you're not available, well, Free is interesting because you can switch from 3 different modes, like saying you're going out, flexible, or you're busy. But if you have this app set to going out or flexible, the app will send a push notification to your friends who live in your current city, letting them know that you're available and that you would like to hang out. And it's a free app. And I think it's funny how, in a way, we need to have an app to let others know when we're ready to hang out or we're available. Right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And we have to go to break, Katie. So after the break, everybody will continue our conversation on apps. So come on back.
He's hooked, his brain is cooked. He's hooked, his brain is cooked.
Right now, 82.
Get the app called Radio Pup for your iPhone and take us everywhere you go. Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And in studio, we have producer extraordinaire, Mr. Jim Walsh.
Oh, I see we have the cam thingy working again.
The cam thingy is working again.
I saw the geezer over there playing with the rabbit ears.
I'm thinking that's probably why it went down for a while, because he's over there. He doesn't quite understand the technology yet. So, but yeah, it's kind of working again. We really apologize for this. We are getting closer. It's actually working some of the time today. So if you go to thetechranch.com, you can see Jim and I broadcasting live. Maybe. Hello. Jim's there. He is. So we appreciate your patience with the video stream, but we are working on the technological issues we're having. On the phone, of course, Miss Metaverse, Katie Aquino, and we are talking about apps, and I think it's my turn, my best messenger app for Android. And I've been struggling with this, Katie, because I'm maybe you're the same way, but Jim talks to me through Facebook, right?
Right.
Okay. I have people who I do a lot of business with on Google Hangouts. I have, people who want to do things with me on Skype. I have all these things going on all the time, and so I have accounts everywhere, and to keep track of all this stuff is starting to drive me a little nuts. So I've been looking for a way that I can bring all of them together in one app to manage all of my messaging, and there's quite a few of them out there, but the best one that I could find is one called Droop. Drupe. Are you familiar with that?
I have heard of that.
Okay.
But dude, tell me more.
Okay, so it displays all your contacts in a list, lets you contact people using any of the most popular messaging services, whether it's WhatsApp, SMS, Skype, Google Hangouts, Facebook, Messenger, Android. I mean, all of these things are put together into one, and basically you see the icon for the person you want to talk to. You swipe on that person's photo, and it starts up the messaging service that they prefer to work with, and there you go.
Very cool. Very cool. Love that one. That's awesome.
It is, and I'm going to play with it a little bit more myself and put it on all my devices and take advantage of that, because I think it's really something pretty cool. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, please do tweet it also, because I'd love to share that as well. That'd be very cool.
Okay.
It's so crazy how many different platforms we're all using now, and we're expected to be using our Facebook Messenger. I know Steven, who was our videographer for the summit in North Dakota.
Oh, yeah.
There. He messaged me the other day and said hello through Google Hangouts, and I totally missed it for like a whole week. It's so funny how things like that happen, because there's just so much to keep up with. But yeah, it's very, very good to keep on finding things that will help you streamline and put everything in one place.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so this is something that's a little bit, I guess, fun if you're a dog owner. This is called TinDog. Seriously, it's called TinDog, like TINDOG. It's for iOS and Android, but it's a Tinder app for dog lovers. So you could swipe just like you would for the Tinder dating app, but you could swipe left for no, swipe right for yes, and you can make a match with another dog owner.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess I don't believe it's for dating. I think it's just to connect with somebody who also owns a dog, so you can have your dogs go on a play date together.
Sure.
So I didn't really know there was that much of a need for it. Traditionally, I would just bring my dog to the park and meet other dogs naturally, but you never know, especially if you're living in a big city or something like that. Maybe it's good to have too.
Very cool. So, yeah, and since I'm not a dog owner, I would have no use for it. So I don't even have any comments on it, except for the fact that it's probably a cool thing to have. So, so my next one is called AirDroid. Are you familiar with AirDroid?
No.
All right. So this is very, very cool. I've been using it for about a month now. It is free. They do have a premium service as well. But what it does is you put the app on your phone, and then you put the widget or app or whatever on your computer as well. And if you're, moving in and out from, working remotely, and then you come into your office or your home or whatever, and a lot of times, you're working and then the phone buzzes. And you're like, oh, my goodness, who's messaging me now? Or the phone rings, and you're like, I got to pick up the phone to answer it. Well, when you have AirDroid on your computer, a screen will pop up, and you can message from your computer. It actually syncs with your phone, your Android, and when a message comes in, you use the keyboard to respond to it. If a phone call comes in, you just tap answer the phone, and the mic that you have on your computer and speakers become your phone. And you can move files off of it. So if you took a bunch of pictures and you want to post one to Facebook, and you don't want to plug in your phone or wherever else you're storing your photos at, you can just go on AirDroid and look at your photos and say, this is what I want, download it, put it into Facebook, away you go. It's very, very convenient. And I'm trying to remember what my life was like without it, actually, because it has made a dramatic impact in the way I communicate during a daily basis. So AirDroid, absolutely free, and it's a great way to utilize your computer with your phone.
Very cool. I love it.
Okay, so what's next on your list?
Oh, boy. All right. Let's see here. We went through a lot on my list, Marlo. I think that you've one-upped me here. Seriously. Well, I mean, this is a very innovative, but I've noticed that a couple of new channels and also publications on the web have started making apps finally, so you could just, instead of having to go to the website, you can find content that they're promoting, I guess, through the app. And one is BuzzFeed. There's actually a BuzzFeed app now, which seems kind of cool because I like checking out BuzzFeed stuff. Sometimes they have really funny videos.
Sure.
So I like that they have an app now. And also Showtime came out with an app. And I think that's kind of big, too, because HBO originally had one, and now Showtime has one.
So are you able to actually stream movies and that type of thing right through your device right from their apps?
Yeah, so like the HBO app, there's a subscription service, and so here we're seeing a shift. Everyone's shifting from using traditional television or having to pay through the cable television companies, and instead people are starting to just watch television online and through the web. And with these paid channels like HBO or Showtime, I believe HBO was $14.99 a month for HBO Now, and I had ordered it because my TV, the way I have it set up, is it's streaming through a little NUC computer, and so it's not the regular TV, I guess, but it also has all the channels I'd want. Except I don't have HBO, so I do pay for HBO separately, and now Showtime's app is $10.99 a month, so it's definitely cheaper than the HBO app.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see how they're going to compete.
And the nice thing with this, and a lot of it has to do with Roku and the Google Nexus and Apple TV. Those are ways that you can get television basically now without having to subscribe to cable or whatever. The common term is called cutting the cord. So you cut the cord from your satellite company or your cable company to reduce costs, maybe get more content or the content that you want. And that's probably the biggest thing. We always laugh that there's 400 channels on cable and there's still nothing to watch. And the thing is, there's just nothing to watch that you're interested in. The nice thing, like with the Roku, there's over 2,000 channels now. And if you want to watch a cooking show, you turn on a cooking show to watch it, and you can just catalog through it. You can do a search, you can do a voice search, all this other stuff. So, and I think HBO, Showtime, those companies are starting to realize that there's an actual shift of people that are moving towards using, they're cutting the cord, and they don't want to lose that market share. So they're figuring out ways where they can basically a la carte those channels to you is how it's working. So you can buy the Showtime or HBO subscriptions independent now, and but it is interesting because a lot of us are cutting the cord to try to save money, right? Let's say you're paying $100-$150 a month to watch TV, right? So you're cutting the cord to do that. So you do that, and you got a Roku, and all of a sudden you're paying $8 a month for Hulu, and you're paying $8 a month for Netflix, and you're paying $14.99 for Showtime and whatever HBO or whatever. And before you know it, you're right back to what you were spending before.
Yeah.
So
right.
Yeah, so I think a person has to be kind of careful about it, but I guess the nice thing about it is you are getting the content that you normally want. So
finally,
yeah. So that's what you're after here. Is
instead of if you want one particular channel, you have to pay through the nose and take a lot of crap channels with
Exactly. So, all right, my next app is the best camera app for Android, and that is Camera 360. Are you familiar with that, Kate?
Yes, I that's the one that you're allowed to shoot 360 photos, right? In some kind of way.
And a lot of other things. So there's over 200 filters on the camera. You can do like a color shift photo. I don't know if you're familiar with them, where you can pick like the color yellow and everything else is black and white except for that leaf that's in the screen that's yellow, or that red shirt or whatever. You can do this with your phone now. All kinds of effects and filters and that type of thing. And it's free. You got to love that too. So, Katie, you get one last app here before we have to go for the day.
Oh, one last app. All right. Let's see here. I would have to say there's a lot of new social video apps that have been coming out. I guess the new trend is video, and obviously we're seeing that with Periscope and Meerkat and whatnot. Meerkat, but those are all live streaming. But another trend is just using videos.
You got 10 seconds, Katie.
Okay, so Beat, B-E-E-T, it's a social video app for iOS. Lets you film short videos and compiles them into an ongoing montage.
All right, very good, everybody. Thanks, Katie. Thanks, Jim. We'll see you all again next week.